Welcome to Narca Tales. They say the line between concern and obsession can be thinner than you realize, until you cross it. Tonight, we dive into the story of one man's good intentions spiraling into a living nightmare as he tries to rescue the woman he calls a friend and nearly destroys them both. I'm your host, and this is the tale of OP. Let's call him Ethan, a 32-year-old supervisor at a non-profit legal aid organization. In his 10 years on the job, Ethan has mentored dozens of interns and fellows. But none captured his attention quite like Sui, a 24-year-old fellow who arrived last fall on a prestigious award. He remembers their first day together. She stood in the training room, bright-eyed and self-possessed, a smart little black blazer framing her eager face. Ready to make the world better, she joked, and he'd laughed harder than usual. She picked up complex case files with the ease of a veteran. She asked incisive questions. She lit up when they discussed pro bono strategies. "You'll run this place someday," he'd told her. She just smiled. In the months that followed, they became fast friends, texting about everything from the latest true crime podcasts to the best hole-in-the-wall sushi spot in the city. When his mother visited for Thanksgiving, Sui joined them for lunch, charming his mama with stories of her distant childhood in a Midwest college town. If there ever was workplace kinship, it was theirs. Then, 2 months into her fellowship, Ethan noticed something odd. At a team meeting he'd praised her research. She'd blushed but said nothing of her boyfriend, though she'd spoken freely of other close relationships. When he gently probed, "You must have someone special waiting at home, right?" Her eyes had dropped. "It's complicated," she'd said, and then steered the conversation back to policy memos. He chalked it up to workplace discretion, but couldn't shake a twinge of hurt. Why would someone so trusting hide the most important person in her life? He filed the thought away. Another 2 months passed. Sui's performance soared. His recommendation for her promotion danced on his lips, but he held back. Their friendship felt sealed by a small fracture. She had secrets he didn't share. Then came the fundraising gala. A glittering ballroom full of donors, senators, judges. Ethan had invited Sui as his guest. She'd agreed. But the night before, she called to say her longtime boyfriend, Arif, was in town and would drop her off. He'd be waiting to drive her home afterward. Ethan felt the first flare of alarm. 5 years together, and she'd never introduced him. She'd never let her date chauffeur her, when anyone else would have welcomed the ride. But he let it go. He could rise above jealousy. That evening, she arrived in a swirl of satin and laughter, but never approached him. She drifted through the crowd in the arms of Arif, a sandy-haired man in a rumpled shirt and khakis. At the check-in he muttered, "I won't stay long," his gaze darting. When she slipped away for his call, "Sorry, babe, just a sec," Ethan's chest tightened. Arif's arrival was the gala's unintentional jolt of humor. He strode in wearing bright orange gym shorts and a t-shirt reading "I Red Heart Tofu." Ethan swallowed a laugh as he shook the man's hand. "Quite the ensemble," he teased. Arif's eyes hardened. "Comfort over haute couture," he snapped, before pulling Sui aside. Ethan watched them disappear. He tried to bury the unease in wine and small talk, but all night, he felt Sui's eyes flick to the entrance, checking on Arif. Finally, at midnight, she slipped a hand into his. "I'm tired," she whispered. "Can we go?" He held her arm. "Wait. Just 1 more hour. I wanted us to enjoy tonight." She shook her head, voice tight. "Arif wants to be sure I get home safe." He felt the old pain surface, manipulated into a supporting role. They parted at the car, Arif's truck idling with the engine running. Sui slid in, barely glancing back. Ethan pressed his phone to his ear. "Let me know when you're inside," he called. No response. He waited through 1 a.m., checking his texts. Nothing. By 2 o'clock, panic bloomed. She'd Snapchat messaged him earlier the next day, but that once bright good morning never came. Unwilling to sit at home, Ethan drove to her apartment, only to find the hallway dark, her lock changed. A neighbor peered at him through the peephole. "Is that Sui's supervisor? There's nothing here." Alarm turned to dread as he realized. The last time she'd texted, she'd snapped a photo of a bouquet and said, "Don't wait up." He replayed every moment. That call, that rush to leave. Each instance had pointed toward Arif's controlling presence, how he'd insisted on chauffeuring her, how he'd intervened in her work errands, how she seemed tense whenever they met. He saw the signs now, the missed calls, the secretive glances, the quick goodbyes. On Monday morning, she arrived at the office as if nothing had happened, hair slightly mussed, eyes rimmed pink. She took her seat, avoided his gaze. She announced her departure. "I'm leaving early today. Family emergency." "Wait, are you all right?" Ethan asked, voice low. She shrugged. "It's personal. I'll give you my notes tomorrow." He felt every cell in his body scream, "She needs help." He spent the afternoon scouring domestic violence hotlines and legal frameworks, determined to deliver her an ultimatum. "She's in an abusive relationship, and I'm going to save her from it." He rehearsed his words. "Sui, you deserve someone who respects you." He envisioned confrontation, Arif's smug smile melting into shame. On Tuesday, he cornered her by the espresso machine. "Sui, listen, this has gone too far." She froze, face paling. He plunged on, "Your boyfriend, he's isolating you. He won't let you stay late. He monitors your calls. That's abuse." Her lip trembled. He put a hand on her shoulder. "I care about you. I can help you get out." Her eyes flashed, not with gratitude, but fear. She yanked away. "Don't ever talk to me about that again." He's certain he saw something darker than fear, hate. That night, he uncovered the truth. Sui had confided in a trusted co-worker that, yes, Arif was jealous, but she loved him, and he protected her from strangers. She worked weekends cleaning at his family's textile mill. His generosity had paid her tuition. He'd ushered her through her mother's cancer, flown her home when her brother died. He wasn't abusive. He was the one stable presence in her life. Ethan realized, with a cold lurch, that he'd built a narrative out of his jealousy, his own unspoken feelings, masquerading as heroism. The very qualities he'd admired in Sui, her warmth, her gratitude, had led him to believe she needed saving. And when she rejected him, he'd labeled her in denial. On Thursday, the police knocked on his door. Sui had filed a harassment claim. His concern had become stalking, repeated messages, unannounced visits, cornering her in the office. He'd pushed her into a corner, terrified and powerless. As he sat in the interrogation room, the weight of his self-righteous crusade crushed him. He'd thought himself the protector, but he'd become the predator. Here's the shocking twist. When he requested to see Sui one last time, she agreed, on condition he come to a public coffee shop. Under the harsh fluorescent lights, she faced him calmly. "Ethan," she said, voice soft, "I know you thought you were helping. But you never asked me. You just assumed. You took away my choice." He swallowed, throat dry. She held up her phone. It showed his last text. "I'm worried. Just let me know you're okay." "I was," he whispered. "Or were you worried you'd lose me? Worried you'd be alone?" Her eyes glistened. "I never hid my boyfriend, Ethan. I never wanted to offend you. But you made this about you." He looked down, shame flooding him. "I'm sorry." Tears slipped down her cheeks. "I hope you learn to see others as whole people, not projects to fix." And with that, she rose and walked away, leaving him alone with his remorse. Ethan's story is a cautionary tale. The road from nice guy to psychopath can begin with genuine concern, but if you refuse to listen, you risk becoming the abuser you swore to fight. Thank you for watching Narca Tales. If tonight's story moved you, hit subscribe, and join us next time for another reckoning at the edge of intention and obsession.